Good morning and welcome to the Friday Financial Review. I'm Paul Griffiths, European Financial Planner. So hopefully you've all enjoyed what has been a really lovely week, spoken to various clients in France, Spain, and borders are opening up again, a few tourists coming in, and certainly the weather has been rather lovely. In today's Friday review, I've had various requests from clients in France specifically, just wanting to understand the different facets of the taxes that are applicable on assurance fees. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into what the tax are, how that's applied when making withdrawals. So we'll do a case study, and we'll also talk about potential reduction in some of the taxes, and then we'll finish off with the tax applicable on your death. Okay? So first off, we need to understand the actual tax itself. So in France, they have simplified the assurance fee regime since September 2017. And the regime now is called it's called the prélèvement forfaitaire unique, or in other words, a flat tax. This is made up of two elements. One is the fixed income tax, and the other one is the social charge. Fixed income tax is 12.8%, and the social charge is 17.2%. Put the two together, you have 30%. So, how does this actually work in practice when it comes to making a withdrawal? Let us put a case study together. So for this case study, you've invested 200,000 euro. It's now valued at 250,000 euro. You want to make a 50,000 euro withdrawal, and you want to know how much tax would be applicable. So obviously, step number one is to consider what is the growth. We've already determined that. It's 50,000 euro. Next step is to determine how much of the withdrawal is actually taxable, because every withdrawal is made up of the capital you invested and the gain. So to do this, we need to understand what percentage does the total gain represent of the overall value of the portfolio. So if you have 50,000 euro gain and the portfolio is worth 250,000, simple maths, divide 50,000 by 250,000, it gives you basically 20%. And you apply that 20% to the amount that you are withdrawing. So 20% of 50,000 is of course 10,000 euro. So we now know that your 50,000 withdrawal that you're making, 10,000 euro is the gain, and 40,000 euro is your initial capital that you invested. So therefore, the prélèvement forfaitaire unique applies on the 10,000 euro of gain. As I said, it's made up two elements: fixed income tax at 12.8%. So in this case, 12.8% of 10,000 is 1,280. And then you've got your social at 17.2 currently, and that makes it 1,720. Put the two together, gives you 3,000, 30% of 10,000. So on a 50,000 euro withdrawal, in this example where 20% of the withdrawal represents the gain, it means you will be paying 3,000 euro in taxes. Simply put, it brings down the total effective rate of tax on your 50,000 withdrawal to 6%, because 3,000 in taxes is 6% of €50,000. It is very important to keep the information, or the accountant keeps the information on every withdrawal, because every withdrawal is made up of the capital, as I said. So the next time you go to make a withdrawal, you now know that previously you've taken €40,000 of the original capital. So very important for the next round of withdrawals to do the same calculation again. So hopefully that has been explained by me in the simplest way possible. Next, we are going to take a look at potential reductions in one of the, or both tax elements actually. So in this case, the fixed income tax of 12.8% will reduce down to 7.5% from the 9th year of your assurance fee. So a great reduction. However, do understand that this reduction of 7.5% only applies for the first €150,000 of your invested premium. So if you have invested more than €150,000, the elements above this, the income tax will always remain at the 12.8%. Now, the other potential reduction is, of course, your social charge. The social charge is 17.2% currently and is made up of various elements of the social regime in France. In certain circumstances, individuals may very well be exempt from the majority of those social charges. For example, if you are already of state retirement age and are in full receipt of state benefits and have S1 exemption, it means then the chances are you will only have to pay the solidarity element of that social charge, and the solidarity element of that social charge is currently 7.5%. So all of a sudden, your social charge of 17.2 could reduce all the way down to 7.5%. Now, if you are not of the age of state benefit at that time, but you have resided in France and are resident here on the basis that you have a private healthcare insurance and thus you are not paying into the carte vitale, the healthcare system, then there's a real likelihood that you would also be exempt from having to pay the higher 17.2% and thus only the 7.5% solidarity element of that social charge. Of course, when it comes to taxes, I always say consult your accountant. The very last form of taxation really is the eventuality. It happens to us all. No one is going to be immortal. Perhaps in the future, who knows? When you die, what happens to the wealth that's built up in your assurance vie? So in this example, we're simply going to say that you have a policy, you only have one named beneficiary, and you've invested the money before your 70th birthday. So if you invest, say, €700,000, and on death, because it's a life insurance policy, it pays out 101%. So let's say you invested 700,000, today it's worth 1 million, and you die. The assurance fee provider will pay out €1,010,000. Your son or daughter, just one beneficiary, let's say, is the sole beneficiary of that money. What happens? Well, the great news is because you invested the money prior to your 70th birthday, your beneficiary, your sole beneficiary, will have an allowance of €152,500 that will be completely tax-free of French succession tax. The remaining amount, of course, is then taxed accordingly under Assurance Vie rules. Assurance Vie rules dictate that anything up to €700,000, obviously over and above the 152,500 allowance, will be taxed at a flat rate of 20%. Any amount 701,000 onwards, 700,001 onwards will be taxed at 31.25%. Rather quirky, I think. But nonetheless, these taxes are very, very generous in comparison to some of the regimes in the OECD countries, of course. The important point to remember here when it comes to inheritance succession tax is that A, it is the beneficiary's responsibility to pay those tax. You will find that most Assurance Vie providers, especially in the international arena, will simply pay out the $1,010,000 in this example to the beneficiary, and it'll be the responsibility of the beneficiary to pay those taxes. So the Assurance Vie itself is not there to escape from inheritance or succession tax. It allows the beneficiary to receive those funds so that they will have liquidity to help pay for not just the duties on the Assurance Vie itself, but of course there'll be other assets that you as the parents are passing on to your loved ones. Property, money in the bank, so on, so on, so on. So today wraps up a deeper look in the individual taxation. I urge you, for those who are interested to find out more, please do contact me. If you're watching this on YouTube, make a comment. If you're watching this on Facebook, send me a message. Of course, all my contact details are on LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course, you can always just search me on the internet itself. Okay, so thank you very much for my followers. Thank you very much for my viewers. Do share these videos with anyone who you feel can benefit from the information and advice. And during these wonderful times that we're now getting into finally, I wish you the very, very best of Fridays. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all again next week. Bye-bye.